In the 2008 American computer animated action comedy film, The Kung Fu Panda, produced by DreamWorks Animation and directed by John Stevenson, the film is set in a version of ancient China, populated by anthropomorphic talking animals, and revolves around a bumbling panda named Po, an ardent and religious kung fu enthusiast with but experience in noodle soup making. And so today, folks, I'm pulling this illustration from a very unlikely angle, a film from back in 2008, in order to emphasize and draw our attention to the revolutionary agenda the Kenya competency-based curriculum has for this great nation of ours. And so in the film, it is foretold that an ancient kung fu warrior named Tai Lung will escape from prison, and Master Oogway unwittingly names Po the soup maker as Dragon Master destined to defeat him. The uphill task then, and this is where my emphasis is on this illustration, the uphill task of educating and transforming Po the soup maker to be the Dragon Master and a Kung Fu master is then laid upon Master Shifu's tiny shoulders, a role he well accomplishes not by turning Po to be like the other 4 temple warriors, but by taking him through and wittingly and patiently probing him and making him realize his full panda potential. Allow me draw and pull this illustration further in this sense. You see, Master Shifu, in transforming Po the soup maker, to be the Dragon Master, a Kung Fu master, takes him through a unique learning process of self-discovery, which eventually turns him into the best him he could ever be. It was quite a patient process, and at this level, any average teacher would have, right from the go, branded Po and fit for the post for the unique learning requirements he posed. To put this illustration into our Kenyan context, our education system has not quite been fair in building each learner's potential to the best that they can be, but rather has been skewed and turned around to outrightly suppress God-given talents and unique abilities. Nobody really gives a damn about what a child's talent is. The system of education is not responsive and does not care about what a child or a learner is inherently built to do. Forget the "I want to be a pilot" pronouncements often made by a bunch of clueless kids, often misinformed by stereotypic external influences. I am talking about real factory settings a child brings to this planet at birth, and how our education system, the 844 particularly, was or is not responsive to that. I have a friend, and I'll use him to illustrate this further in order for us to identify with this illustration. I have a friend, and I know he's watching. We call him Justo. What Justo does all day long is sing. In fact, you cannot finish a conversation with him before he choruses one of his favorites. To your astonishment, Justo is in a technical college studying civil and structural engineering. Quite a mismatch, if you could ask me. On asking him why one time it is so, he said, "I go to school because my parents pay my school fees." And I think this is a scenario which is quite rampant here in Kenya, because the education system has not been responsive to what we take to school as talents and abilities that God gave us when we came to this planet. And so, thanks to the same education system, we ended up, and so many of us have fallen victim of this, we've ended up sacrificing our God-given talents and unique abilities at the altar of vocations which could quickly give us a job for cash or a livelihood. And God knows how or what is the level of career talent mismatch in this great nation of ours. It is quite a rampant scenario that somebody who is not fit for a particular post or a particular career or a particular subject matter or a particular course is taking that course simply because the course is or has a quicker intake level in terms of employment. That is, if you get out of college, it is possible, for example, for you within 2 or 3 years or a year or 6 months to have landed a job, and that means that you will be away from the hustle and bustle of looking for a job. And so we have been pushed to that corner by our education system, and this, I believe, has had a very negative implication on our productivity as a country. With no doubt, I believe so. The reflection of how our education system has negatively impacted our productivity as a country can well be drawn or studied on how we handle public office. If you probe keenly how we handle public office in this country, our officers handle those offices, most of them handle those offices with so much disinterest, you could even wonder if the officers were choked or forced down their throats or what. And so I believe there is a correlation between one's abilities and talents and his career as studied in university, for instance, or in college, or in a middle college, or at a technical college, and how or what office one is entrusted with in public service, for instance. And so this has affected our productivity as a country.